This is the hardware that comes in your kit. 3 tuners, 6 mounting screws, 2 lath screws, 3 brass screws, 3 bushings, 6 string cups, 1 threaded rod, and 1 flying bridge. Here you have what will be your cigar box guitar. 1 beautiful ash neck, a set of 3 strings, and an all-wood cigar box pre-drilled with sound holes. Starting with 3 of the string cups, one at a time, gently tap them into the holes on the tailpiece. Flip it over and repeat on the other side. With your headstock facing up, one at a time, gently tap your bushings into each of the pre-drilled holes for the tuners. Now it's time to insert your string trees. Take your brass screws and twist them into the pre-drilled holes that you see here underneath the bushings, but twist them in only halfway, leaving half of it exposed. It's time to install your tuners. Place one in each hole with the gear facing down away from the headstock and towards the tailpiece, such as this. Using your 6 mounting screws, 2 per tuner, go ahead and fasten your tuners to the neck. Match the 2 holes pre-drilled in the back of the neck down by the string cups to the 2 holes pre-drilled into the cigar box lid. After matching the holes, using your lath screws, secure the cigar box to the neck. Go ahead and string her up. From the back side of the tailpiece, with your thickest string, insert it through this string cup. Pull it through and let it hang loosely. The next 2 strings look pretty similar in thickness. Hold them up to one another, and the one that hangs a little bit more limply is the thinnest of the 2. Your second thickest string comes up through the back of the tailpiece through this hole. Pull it through and let it hang loosely. Your third and thinnest string will go through this hole, pull it through, and let it hang loosely. With your thickest string on this side of the string tree, wrap it around the tuning shaft a couple of times and insert it through the hole in the tuning shaft. Your middle or second thickest string will come up on this side of the string tree and wrap around the tuning shaft in the opposite direction of the first. Go ahead and insert it through the hole in the tuning peg and give it a pull. Your third and thinnest string will come on this side of the string tree, wrap around the tuning shaft a few times, and again to be inserted through the hole in the tuning shaft. With your string still loose, slide your flying bridge underneath them and place it over that line that you see on the neck. Now go ahead and slide the threaded rod underneath the strings and into the groove that you see filed below the string trees. Slowly tighten your tuners one at a time until your threaded rod and flying bridge are held in place. Before finally tightening your strings so that your guitar is tuned, feel free to evenly space them over the threaded rod like you can see here.
Well, hello, I'm Ben Baker, better known as CB Gitty, and hopefully by this point you are holding a finished Pure and Simple cigar box guitar in your hands that you just built from our kit. With it built, we are now ready to talk about how to tune it. The strings that we include in the kit are, as you know, because you just got done stringing it up, one large wound string that has a brassy color to it, and then two unwound plain steel strings. The tuning for this cigar box guitar is what is called open G, and it consists of a low G note, a high D note, and then a high G note. And this is called open G or power G chord, and it's what shows up in an awful lot of how to play videos on YouTube, and Justin Johnson covers it in his new DVD on how to play the 3-string. So it's if there's a standard tuning for cigar box guitars, it could be, you know, fairly reasonably claimed that this is it. So what I want to do is cover how to get your cigar box guitar in tune. First, we're going to start with showing how to use one of our digital chromatic tuners. We have for sale for about $10 or $11, and it's one of the add-on options for the kit. To make sure you're in absolute correct tune, one of these is what you need to use. You can also tune by ear to if you have a piano nearby or a standard 6-string guitar that's in proper tuning. You can do a comparison by ear tuning, and depending on how good your ear is, you can get pretty darn close. But a digital chromatic tuner is pretty much the gold standard for correct instrument tuning. So you want to make sure, if you did get one of ours, that it is showing, and we'll show a close-up of this, that it's showing 440, which means that the frequency is set correctly for making sure it's tuned as we expect it, and then that it's on the C mode, and C stands for chromatic tuning, which is the most versatile. These tuners have various other modes for violin and ukulele and guitar and bass guitar, but chromatic is what works best for what we're doing. So pretty much what you do is you clip the tuner onto the headstock, and it picks up the vibrations of the instrument. So as I strike a note, I'll come a little bit closer, and hopefully it'll focus right in. You can see that the little needle goes over, and that it's showing that this string is currently tuned to an F sharp. Well, I don't want it to be F sharp, I want it to be G. So I'm going to adjust this string until that needle is right in the middle and the screen goes green. That means that I'm more or less exactly on the low G. And it might waver around a little bit. As long as you're getting some green screen, it's probably close. So now I want the high D, and you can see that that's a little bit flat. The needle's a little bit lower down than it should be. So I'm going to just tighten that up a little bit until I'm right in the range, getting the green screen there flashing up. And you can kind of hear, as your ear gets better, you know, you'll be able to hear when two strings are pretty much on the dot with each other. So my final string is the high G. That one was a little flat as well, so I'll get that up to pitch. And so the result is what the guitar should sound like when it's fully in tune. So what I'm going to do now is hit these notes and let them ring. I'll hit them several times each, so if you're trying to do this by ear from this video, this is what you can reference. This is the low G, the top string when you're holding it in playing mode. So by turning your tuner button here, you should be able to get your low G string pretty much in tune with that. Now, I should say at this point that if you're just going to be playing by yourself, close is okay. If it sounds good to you, it's fine. So now we move on to the high D, the middle string, the second string. Alright, and now finally the high G string. This is the smallest of the strings. It's on the bottom when you're holding the guitar in playing position. that's it. You should now, if you followed that by ear or used your tuner, your guitar should now be in tune to open G, and you should be able to be ready to play some blues. Now, I mentioned earlier how to play videos online. There are an awful lot of them. If you want my recommendation, and you can go on cigarboxguitar.com, and we have a how to play section with some of these videos referenced on there. The series that Shane Spiel has posted on YouTube is highly recommended. Shane is the king of the cigar box guitar. He's been at this longer than pretty much anybody else, so you can't go wrong with his video instruction. I also recommend the videos of Justin Johnson that are available on YouTube as well, and Justin has also just released a 3 DVD set of instructional videos showing you how to play. The first DVD covers the diddly bow, which is a 1-string instrument. The second DVD covers the 3-string cigar box guitar, which is what we're holding here, and it's kind of, if there's a standard cigar box guitar, I would say it is the 3-string unfretted, just like you just built. And the final DVD covers 4- and 6-string slide guitar, which is a little more advanced, gets you more towards what could be considered a mainstream guitars, but it's still very applicable to cigar box guitars. So hopefully your guitar is now in tune, you're ready to do some jamming, and just the very basic, simple how to play to get you playing your own guitar for the first time perhaps. If you look at the fret lines on the instrument, on the neck of the instrument, they're drawn on. Some of these frets are more important than others for playing basic songs. The ones that are most important are the fifth fret here. You can see there should be a dot on it on your guitar. So that one's very important. And then the 7th fret up here, there's another dot there, is also important. By strumming the strings without anything on there, going up to the 5th fret, and you're right over that line, the line on the, the upward side of the dot, and up to the 7th, you should be able to hear it starting to sound like something. So one of the most basic blues songs you can play is called the 12-bar blues. This is kind of a variation on that. So you just start strumming, get yourself a little bit of a rhythm going. So what I'm doing there is I'm hitting that low bass string, because that kind of gives us that thumpy bass to start it off. So I'm hitting downward stroke and then a couple of upward strokes. And you don't have to do this at first, but I'm using the palm of my hand to kind of mute those strings after the upstrokes, and it kind of gives it more of a bluesy feel. You don't have to do that. You could just go. But I think it sounds better with a little muting. So don't worry about that if you don't want to. Just kind of get familiar with where we're putting stuff up here on where we're putting this slide up here on the neck. So going to the 5th fret now. Right now it's open. I'm not putting the slide on anywhere. So next I'm going to go to that 5th, what would be the 5th fret. Hear how that changed? Now I'm going to go open again. Next I'm going up to the 7th fret, down to the 5th, open. Back up to the 7th. Throwing in a little bit something extra there. I'm just kind of touching it on the 3rd fret. And you can hear how that kind of gives it a little bit of extra bluesy feel there for a second. Back up to the 5th, open. 3rd, 7th, 5th, open. Now, that's enough to get you going, I think. It's just the 5th and the 7th and open with a little bit of the 3rd fret thrown in there just for that bluesy feel. And I just want to cover what I did there at the end in a little bit slower detail, because that's one of the most recognizable blues endings. So if we come to the end of our song and we kind of want to give it that send off, I'll play it again a little more slowly. All I did there was I was open, gave a couple of hits on the third, and then fifth, seventh, and then back to the open, and that's the end of the song. Or if you really, really want to get fancy, you got the 12th fret up here. It has 2 dots on the neck, and that is what's called 1 octave above the open string. So if this is G, D, G here, if you touch the 12th fret, it's also G, D, G, but it's a full octave or a full register higher. So instead of ending with the open strings at the end of your blues number, if you go all the way up there, it can sound cool. So I'm just going to run through a pretty quick rendition of it here so you can hear it, and then you'll be on your own, ready to make some music. There you go. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope you're having fun playing your new cigar box guitar. Thank you.